Okay, so we are looking at a right triangle here. I know it's a right triangle, right, because of this notation. That little marking in the corner of the triangle tells me that that angle is worth 90 degrees. And I have 1, 2, 3 sides with either values or a variable. This is an unknown side. I'm meant to find what this length is, find x. And in this case, I would use the Pythagorean theorem. Theorem. I had to stop talking for a second because I can't spell and talk at the same time. Pythagorean theorem. It is a very easily memorizable theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. But it's really important that we understand what each of these pieces is referring to. The most important is the c, which is the hypotenuse. So that's this length right here. It's the longest side of the triangle. It is always opposite the right angle. So the very first thing you want to recognize is c is 10. Then it's the legs that make up the other two sides. So if c is 10, that's the hypotenuse. Our a value is this unknown x, and our b value is 4. So from there, we're just going to put the values where they go into the theorem. X squared plus 4 squared equals 10 squared. And it's algebra from here, right? 4 squared is 16. 10 squared is 100. Subtract 16 from both sides. Keep my equal sign there in the middle. You can do that math if you'd like, or you can subtract in the calculator, but we're going to get 84. And then to solve for an unknown when it's being squared, we do the inverse operation, which is just the square root. So we'll do the square root on both sides. And if we were solving quadratics, we would definitely want the plus or minus here. Anytime you introduce the square root, you need to do that. However, in this context, the x value is a side length, so we don't really care about the negative root. We really only want the positive root. So we'll end up with x is square root of 84, which is the correct answer. However, it's unsimplified. You have two options. You can get an approximate answer by just going into the calculator and doing the square root of 84. It's about 9.2. So that's your approximate answer. But typically, you're asked to put it in simplest radical form, and that means we need to pull out the perfect square factors. So our perfect squares are those numbers we get when we square our integers or square our whole numbers. 0, 1, 4, 9, right? 0 squared, 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, 16, 25, so on and so forth. So I want to figure out which of these perfect squares, if any, goes into 84, and I'm going to start by testing 4. It goes in there 21 times. If 4 works, I usually test 16. So let's try that. It doesn't go in there, so we just want 4. We're going to make it 4 times 21. So 84 is exactly the same as 4 times 21. So underneath the radical, I'm just writing that square or that multiplication problem. So that equals 84, right? Equals 84. And then I can do the square roots of each of those individually. This is a perfect square. No perfect square factors go into 21. It's just 7 and 3. So that's my final answer. And by the way, if I type this into the calculator, you'll see it's the same approximate answer of about 9.2. Ta-da! Very exciting stuff. Here's your final answer in simplest radical form. Simplest radical form. Hope that's helpful. Message me anytime with questions.